Well, if you're thinking of relocating to another country, well, bear in mind that it comes with an endless checklist and questions. And therefore, it's crucial that you ask the right questions before making your final decision, particularly when it comes to transporting your family's prized possessions. Moving abroad can be quite an expensive exercise, but to discuss this even further, I'm joined by the Managing Director of Crown Relocations Africa, Ian Pettey. Ian, good morning to you. Hopefully you're joining me this morning. Are you well? Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Yeah, great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. I spoke about how expensive relocating can be. I just wonder, what are some of the cost implications that one really has to consider before making that final decision?
Well, I think your major cost, actually, the relocation cost is very, very important and does become quite a big part of your moving costs. But I think you really do need to have enough money when you arrive at the other end. A lot of landlords, when you rent a property, require almost a 12-month payment up front.
Yes, Ian?
Yes.
So a 12-month, upfront payment, that's one of the things that are required, I'm sure, amongst many other things that you have to, budget for. But also I know it's important to equally ask the right questions. What kind of questions do you think one needs to ask not only themselves, but whomever that they'll be working alongside to make this relocation a success?
Well, I think you've certainly got to make sure that you choose the right relocation partner, and there are a lot of ways to go about doing that. And I think the big things are you've got to make sure the company that you've selected has got a good track record. You need to almost get involved in Facebook groups with people that have moved overseas to find out who they utilized, and word of mouth is also important when selecting relocation companies. Once you've done that, then you've got to actually make sure that the country that you're moving to is also that you've done the right homework, because I think a lot of people arrive in the country of destination and you suddenly find out, wow, I didn't realize I had to do this, I had to do that. I brought the wrong furniture, because in South Africa, our houses are big. When you move to places like the UK, you get very small, you get small accommodation, and, furniture doesn't fit into it. So there's a lot of things and lots of questions you need to ask before you relocate.
But why do you think often these questions are overlooked? Is it pure ignorance, or perhaps just undermining the amount of work that goes into relocating not only yourself, but also your family?
I think panic also is quite a big thing. We've gone through a lot of change in South Africa, and a lot of people, at the moment they get an opportunity to go, they go. And they don't, do enough research. And when you suddenly get, to the point of where you're almost standing at the airport with your luggage, you suddenly say, wow. And, you haven't prepared your spouse, your children, and a lot of relocations fail. We're finding, a lot of people leaving the country, but a lot of people are returning because of failed relocations. And that's because the didn't do their homework well before they left the country.
That is such an interesting point you've mentioned there. So in terms of the amount, how many people are really relocating, especially in the South African context?
Well, in my years of experience, and I've been in the industry for around 40 years, we've got quite a spike of people leaving the country, and for various reasons. I think a lot of people are just fed up and just tired of what's happening around them. But, the grass isn't always green on the other side. But I think when you say the amount of people leaving, there is a spike. There are a lot of people that are leaving. But on the converse, there are a lot of people. As one airplane takes off with lots of people, another airplane arrives with new people, or people that left and could not make it work. So, for a company like ours, we're happy to handle relocations either way.
Yeah, well, of course, very comforting to know that there is a solution to this. And of course, Crown Relocations Africa being one of them, helping you move effortlessly. But thank you so much, Ian, for joining me for this very important conversation. So if you're trying to make a decision on relocating yourself and your family, and you haven't really calculated the cost, haven't asked the right questions, Ian standing by, of course, anytime to assist you. That's the Managing Director of Crown Relocations Africa, Ian Pettey. Thank you so much for joining me.